Take DJ and PK wherever you go. Find every moment of every show in podcast form by searching DJ and PK on your favorite platform. This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Happy Valentine's Day. Why is it when we play John Legend and I started a little singing, it was setting the mood? When you just did it, wasn't on air, when you heard this song, it sounded creepy and dirty old manish.
I'm just telling you right now.
Am I right, Chicho?
This song is the jam. This song is the jam. I don't care when you're born.
Didn't it sound creepy?
Christian,
listen.
Answer very carefully.
No.
It did. It's like...
It did not.
It did too. The way in the face you made, people can't see it, but man.
Oh my gosh.
It was awful. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about you.
Thankfully. I was thinking about getting this show over and getting this day over when you were doing that.
Same here.
Whereas when I did John Legend.
John Legend's song sucks.
That's not.
This is a timeless classic. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You put this song on, things are going well.
And what's the name of this song?
Healing by Marvin Gaye.
What's the full name of this song?
Healing.
See, that's not anything I need. That's something you need. So, of course, I could see why this song would be important to you.
We all need it.
You need it, Christian? You're young.
We all need it.
Thank you, Christian.
Did you hit 24 yet?
Yeah, I'm 24, yeah.
You just had a birthday then, right?
No, it was last May. It was a while ago.
Oh.
He's
Man,
24 and a half.
It'd be 25 almost, man. Now you go out of town, you can rent a car here pretty soon.
Dude, I'm just
I
telling
can't
you,
wait.
man. Hey, when I was 24, I needed this song. When I was 51, I needed this song. There's never a time I don't need that song.
When did you get married, Christian? At 14?
July at 23. So I was 23 years old.
Oh.
Dude, he's been healing for a while.
Yeah, I got married at 25. Yeah.
I did my best Steve Young impression. Got married at 37.
You menace to society.
I was. You remember.
I did. When I got the invitation, I broke out the Martinellis about freaking time.
Martinellis? That's weird because I broke out the hard stuff.
I had.
Because it was.
I had serious doubts, man. For many years. People would ask me, I'd say, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. He's handsome.
I don't know.
He's educated.
Yeah.
Smart guy. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't get it.
I know
He's way too much into coaching quarterbacks, I guess, is the only thing I could think of.
Everybody thought that it was pretty scandalous that I married my wife's 10 years younger than me. I was like, what was I supposed to do? At 37, no matter what I did, it was going to be scandalous. So you might as well just go, a decade younger. I mean, the only problem with marrying someone 10 years younger, they don't really know who Scooby-Doo is.
That's a tragedy. That's a deal breaker right there.
I mean, dude, I said Ruh-roh, and she was like, what are you doing?
That's a deal breaker, man. That's all I need to know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. Like, if the worst thing that could happen is she doesn't really know who Scooby-Doo is.
Mine is 6 months younger, so we're everything down.
Yeah, you're just right.
Same, yeah.
Perfect. 25 years old. It's just typical.
Same generation, same everything.
Typical
same
predominant religion in Utah marriage.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, it was probably a little later. They tend to get married a little younger. But
I didn't.
I know, but not everybody follows the path. I get that, but just average length or average marriage age in Utah
is
a little younger.
21, 22?
I saw it sometime ago.
You felt older at 25?
No, I felt fine.
Okay.
No, I was no pressured. No, everything was fine. No, I thought 25 was the right age, and that very year, I moved to California, and then she followed me a few months later. Yeah, but we were married. She had a job; she was teaching, so had to wait, obviously.
Right.
And
was that hard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 You needed some healing.
I had an apartment in California that all I had was a sleeping bag and an alarm clock. That was it. And because she had all the stuff. And then when it was available to move, went back, load up the U-Haul and came over. So for months, literally, I had a sleeping bag and some towels and toiletry type stuff. and that was it.
Where was your job in California that you took?
The South Bay, San Pedro, California.
San Pedro.
Yeah, it's right there in the LA Harbor.
I played against San Pedro in the WBBA World Series when I was 10 years old in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, nice.
San Pedro had some dudes.
Yeah, they're very good. Baseball.
Yeah.
Because they had a lot of...
I remember Idaho Falls had a team there.
Yeah.
Dude had a mustache. His name was like Wojciechowski or something.
Idaho Falls?
Idaho Falls had a team that was there. San Pedro, California, and Santa Monica, California had two dudes that looked like they were 18 years old. Full-on beard. 12 years old.
There was a time, the San Pedro Pirates, that they once had the most players in the majors from one high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The high school is the San Pedro Pirates?
Yeah.
Were they black and yellow?
Yeah.
That's weird because the San Pedro team that we played against was black and yellow.
Yeah. The pirate thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Ashby was the catcher for Houston.
I remember him.
Gary Maddox.
Gary Maddox went to San Pedro?
Yeah, played.
Do you say San Pedro? Am I saying it wrong?
They say Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they knew if you knew that you were from the community.
Gotcha.
Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen lived in Pasadena, but they took piano lessons in San Pedro. Dad drove them down.
Huh.
How about that?
That's huge.
So I wanted
Might as well jump.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Sports fatigue. I don't think it's real. I think if you're in, you're in.
And when you're talking about sports fatigue, you're talking about fandom.
Yeah.
Correct?
So you're from here, right? And
Yeah.
earlier, the Jazz played last night. I thought it was the best case scenario. Going to overtime, fans get excited, and they lose. They have got to get a pick, a top 3 pick. Hopefully the lottery things fall their way and they get the number 1 pick. There's nothing more than I want. So I root for them to lose because I think it's imperative for the franchise to get as high a pick as possible in a top 3 pick. But, I don't have the lifelong Jazz affiliation, right? And I don't really have affiliation live and die by any team. That's why I read that thing that you accused me of patting myself on the back. That I try to keep it light. I try to keep it fun. To me, sports is like going to a movie. Do I like the movie? Great. If I don't like the movie, that's a bummer. And I look forward to go to the next movie, right? I don't get caught up that much in winning those, but I know fans do. And I'm okay with the team tanking to get better. And I know it can be painful in the process. You being from here, what's your level of frustration with this team?
I'm getting some losing fatigue.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
What level of fatigue? Where are we at with the Jazz fatigue with them losing?
I'm tired.
Because it's probably, unless they made some incredible moves in the summer, we're going to go through it again next year.
Oh.
And we've already gone through it a couple of years.
You're asking a lot out of me.
I know. But
I'm tired.
I can deal with it. They've got a plan. The thing that I hate in pro sports is you've got a plan, then you blow up the plan, and you got another plan, and the original plan never came to pass.
So you're glad that they're sticking with the plan?
Yes, you got to. I think they should have stuck with it
told me
earlier.
that it was a 5-year plan.
Well, they sort of are doing that, but they've got to sell tickets and everything, and I'm fine with it. Especially, I'm way more fine with it this year than next year. Excuse me. Let me back that up.
2 years from now?
No. I'm way more fine with it this year than I was last year.
Oh, because you've kind of come around and thought of they're sticking with the plan.
Well, I'm seeing some development now.
Man, it doesn't feel like it to me.
Collier's developing.
Yeah.
George he chucks up a lot of shots.
It's just hard to watch.
Last night you had Filipowski, a second-round pick, go 20-10. There's something there. Kessler. Last year, Kessler wasn't as good. This year, he sat out last night, and that's fine. They need to sit guys. This year, man, he has just been great. He's exactly what you need.
Sophomore slump?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. But we talked to him about it at training camp, and he acknowledged it, and he was aware of it, and he's had a banner season. Like Locke says, why would they want to trade Kessler and then look to find somebody like Kessler?
Yeah.
You already got him. And I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. Don't be trading something that you want back. He had 6 blocks the other night against the Lakers.
I think if you're a fan that's lived in Utah for an extended period of time, which I have, and
Right.
even when I lived in North Carolina and lived in San Diego for a cup of coffee, like, you're following the Jazz.
Yeah.
Like, you're still a Jazz fan.
It's in your blood.
Right. We've been a little bit spoiled in the sense that even when the Jazz were bad in the past, they were, like, competing for, like, the 8th spot in the conference. Like, the year that they had Andre Kirilenko and Jerry Sloan coached the heck out of them, and they came down to the last game of the season. I think they didn't make the playoffs.
You're talking after the statues left, they were 42-40.
Right. And they were one game away from making it, but you felt like they were
Yeah, I
competitive.
think Denver may have gotten in over them at the
There
end.
was there was some excitement about them, and we were spoiled for so long that even when we were bad, we were good.
Uh-huh.
You know, but this is hard. This is different than anything that I've experienced with the Utah Jazz. It's hard for me, and I'm not criticizing the plan. I sometimes have been wondering, like, how long can Will Hardy take this? I mean, if he knows it's the plan,
Yeah.
and I think he knows that he knows that it's the plan, but
He does.
But man, it's hard.
I get it. But
God, this is hard
what
work. To me, this is hard
level of
work.
success doesn't come with something that's hard. Name me anything.
Fair, but like 3 years
I got it.
of losing, 4 years of losing before you can actually like be a coach that can compete for a championship.
Oh, yeah. I said, I was talking to DJ, I think it was last week or the week before.
I ain't got that kind of patience.
I said, when his record gets to 500, they ought to have a celebration.
Really?
Because it's going to take a while, right? They got 40-some losses, only 12, 13 wins now. So he's 30-some games under 500 right now. That's going to take a while for him, 3 years. But the good thing is that he's young, so he's got time. I think, one of the reasons
I just wonder
they hired him.
does self-doubt creep in? Does, like, I know that on the outside it looks right, but as a competitor, and there's no way that he's not a competitor to become an NBA coach. There's no way that a lot of these players are playing that they're not competitors. Like, is there...
Yeah, those guys out there, when he puts them out there, they're not trying to miss shots.
No, and so as a competitor, do you start to doubt yourself? Do you start to go, dude, I don't know if I know how to win anymore. Do I even know? Like, I don't know.
You got to understand the situation. But
Fair
in a
enough,
sense,
but
he's
you're
got job
asking-
security. He's losing, and no one is
Yes.
saying, "Oh my gosh, what are they doing?"
When you're talking about Will, I think
he's secure in his employment.
I think with Will, it's a little bit easier to understand the situation. He's got a few more years than those guys to be able to like look at this objectively. I think as a player, this is hard.
Yeah, but at the
Even if
same
you
time,
know-
I
even
think
if you
it's
know what's
hard
going
for
on.
John Collins and Clarkson and marketing, because those guys, Jordan sort of past his prime a little bit. Collins and marketing, in a sense, you're wasting your prime right now. You're not going to make the play.
Yeah.
Marketing's been in the league, 7 years? He still hasn't played in a friggin' playoff game. That's a joke.
I don't know. There's just a real difference between, like, just as a football player, going 19-3 over 2 years and going 9-15 over 2 years. Like, that felt terrible.
Yeah, I got it.
Like, and it was 9-15. It wasn't 13-40.
I know. I understand.
9-15 was really difficult on me mentally. 19-3, you're flying high, man.
Life is
Like I
better when
said,
you win.
I was the stuff weekends were made of, right?
Yeah. Right. I understand that. Yeah, everybody wants to win. It's more fun to win. But, the NBA being what it is here and how one or two players make a significant difference, and the superstar type players don't seem to be falling off trees, you got to go through this. And think about it this way. If they get a top 3 pick, that means next year they'll have 2 new lottery picks on their team.
My mind
because
is
Taylor Hendricks will be back.
My mind is listening to you. My heart is hurting.
Can you find? But you always hear about
I'm tired of losing.
Finding. What's
If
the word I'm looking for?
tired of it, how are the athletes not tired of it?
Yeah, the 1st and 15th, I guess, probably solves a little bit of that in the paycheck. Can you find some measure of accomplishment in the journey rather than the result?
You have to. Like, that's actually, if I were the mental performance coach, like, that's what I'm talking to the players
Which is
about.
what you do. Riley Jensen's a mental performance coach. Get him if you need him. He'll help you.
You have to talk to him in those like,
right.
What are you, like, the only way that you can keep these guys motivated and happy is you have to help them to become intrinsically motivated to become the best player that they can become. And this is about your progress right now. This is about your ability to grow and progress, even though the outcomes are not going to be what you want.
Right. Now. Right. Not the outcomes are not what you want yet. So I would be selling the word yet with these players a lot. You're not an all-star yet. You're not competing for a championship yet. Right.
But this is part of the building process. This is part of what you need to do so that we can get the proper the proper people in the proper places in this organization so that you can compete. That's what you have to sell. It's and truthfully, it's what you have to sell when you're winning too. Is that your goal? And there's a really, really good Instagram post by Steve Young not very long ago. He talks about he was really upset they'd lost to the Raiders in a big game down in the Coliseum. He flew home and it was a bye week. He wanted to get out of town, and it just so happened that Stephen Covey was on the plane with him, right? And Stephen Covey comes up and talks to him. He's a BYU professor.
On the bye week?
Yeah, and Steve, I think, had flown back to Utah or he'd flown somewhere. He was on the same. And Stephen Covey goes, and Steve was lamenting, this is terrible. I'm behind Joe Montana. We didn't win last week. I'm not getting my shot, blah, blah. And he's like, dude, you have the best platform in the world right now for you to become as good as you can become. You've got a revolutionary coach in Bill Walsh changing the NFL. You've got what could be an incredible mentor who's considered as one of the best quarterbacks around. You can learn from him, and your goal needs to be to become as good as you can become. And he goes, Steve Young literally says, I felt like I was in a trance and I'd been snapped out of a trance by talking to him. And he goes, and it changed my whole trajectory because from that day on, everything became about becoming the best version of myself that I could become. And he goes, I think it changed my trajectory. Completely changed my trajectory.
So you get away from looking at the final score, which is what fans look at, and which ultimately that's what you're judged by.
Yes.
But there's all sorts of stuff that you need to do to get the point to have that final score be in your favor. And so you need to look at that, because if you don't look at that, then the final score will never be in your favor.
Well, the great paradox in sports is that when you take care of processes, outcomes take care of themselves.
Yeah.
When you focus on outcomes, they don't take care of themselves.
Right. So you end up losing.
Right. So you literally have to become intrinsically motivated. You have to be focused on the processes, and the processes take care of outcomes.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's boring, and that's not what everybody wants to hear. But that's the
as
way
a
it
Jazz
works.
fan, can't you find some?
No, I can't. As a fan, I'm emotional, and I'm not thinking.
You think about this. Down the stretch last night, they're playing George and Collier. Combined, their ages are 1 year older than LeBron. They're 21 and 20. And in the history,
they were born when LeBron was in the league.
Yeah. In the history of the league, with few exceptions, nobody wins at 20 and 21. There's only one guy, Magic Johnson. He won his rookie year.
Could he have played in today's game?
Yeah. Probably not, because the league isn't good enough for him. So,
Did you see how snarky Jake got?
He's wrong.
He got a little snarky.
He wants to die on that hill, and he's going to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bury him.
I mean, I was kind of throwing it out there, kind of joking.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he came right back.
No, he wasn't.
He had no jumper.
Yeah, he's He's stuck on that. Yeah, he's big on that. Whoop-de-doo. It's about winning. It ain't how pretty your jump shot is. And that man won. And so these guys, they're just not set up to win. Not yet. Now, you got to have improvement next year, though. You just can't go and slosh every year, though. I've got to see improvement from these guys. Right now, if these guys don't play well enough, it's on management. It's not on them. Because they're trying to play as well as they can. They were brought in to be developed. I don't even think it's on Hardy. Because there's only so much a coach can do. But it's on management because these are the guys that you chose to be the rebuilding foundation. So Justin Zanuck and Danny Ainge, they're the guys on the clock.
When does the move happen?
Well, there's got to be moves available to have it happen, right? And Kevin O'Connor did that several years ago when they had Gobert and when they had Hayward and they were young. And then they went out and got Diaw, George Hill, Joe Johnson. Then I can remember that first day, it was media day, and I'm over at the practice facility, and it's like getting to be late in the day. And for some reason, I end up getting in a conversation alone with Quinn Snyder. And he says to me, he says, man, we're going to give you something to talk about either way. Because they had gone through the rebuilding, right? They had lost. I'm looking at him, and he said, I hear you. He says, we'll either be good enough to be in the playoffs, which will give you something to talk about, or these moves that we made will suck, which will give you something to talk about. I said, you're exactly right. Now, they went on, and they had a nice playoff series against the Clippers and won that thing, I think, in Game 7.
Goodness they had Joe Johnson because he was the only guy that could get his own shot.
So at some point, they got to make that move. We'll know when they think they're competitive because they'll bring in a Joe Johnson-type player, right? Yeah, my wish for Joe Johnson, I always wish they could have brought him in 2 or 3 years earlier because that guy was a true pro.
He was.
It's all he cared about was helping the team win, and he had been through the...
Well, he wasn't scared to take the big shots.
No, not at all. And I wish they could have got him when he was like 30, 31, because he could have really helped them. He was older at that point, but even older, he helped them. So we'll get to that point. It's
funny you say that because his name was always thrown out there as a guy that the Jazz would be interested in. They didn't get him until the very end of his career.
They didn't. I was always super impressed with his professionalism at all times, man. He just was singularly focused. He knew what it was about. He wasn't caught up. He lived in Park City, had a family, and just was here to work and play ball, right? And he approached it so well. And then he made valuable contributions. So hang in there, Jazz fans. The fatigue, I get it. It's growing, but I really believe there's going to be sunny days down the line. I just absolutely, I can't tell you when. It may be 2 years, it may be 3 years, and it's a long way to go right now. But when you get there...
Don't tell me 3 years when I'm trying to take it day by day.
I understand that. But when that time comes, I think it's going to be sweet. All right, get you caught up on what you may have missed, which, of course, is a large part of the Jazz and what they did last night. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
ESPN has a how this is going to play out all the way up until the college football playoff of 2025. This is your ultimate way too early. Your number 3 seed in the college football playoff for next year is the University of Utah.
What?
Hey now.
No.
Yeah, why not?
The Utes?
New offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new you. Literally, new you. The crazy thing about this is that I have no argument against it. Why would you make an argument that Utah couldn't be in that conversation? And I know BYU fans out there are pshawing, but you were in the same spot last year.
The Utah offense scores as many touchdowns as New Mexico did last year. How much different would their season have looked? They have a lot of recent success when they play complementary football, when that offense is up to the task. Combined with that defense, they win a lot. I could see it happening.
Stop. I don't want to get your hopes and dreams up.
I'm making a case.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. For all of you less motivated listeners. It's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker headlines. They're brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your local trusted financial fiduciary. 801-899-7600 or visit their website at trajanwealth.com. Christian, when I hit 0, this song better be off my radio.
Dude.
3, 2, 1, 0. That song sucks.
That song is all time. That's Karate Kid.
Oh, jeez.
That's Karate Kid.
You need to wax on, buddy.
I think you just didn't like it because Riley liked it.
No.
Yeah, I think that's what happens.
That's awful.
Antagonistic behavior.
Where did you come up with that one?
It was so good.
To be honest with you, I think I dragged the wrong song over.
See?
No, that's my favorite coincidence of all time.
Oh, no, man.
That was so awesome. Peter Cetera, Chicago era. Come on. Come on.
Chicho. Call him Chicho. I want to call him Chicho because of Christian. Christian Aranga. Christian, our guy.
Dude.
You are now on
Dude, that was 1984. I'm 10 years
employment
old.
probation.
I'm 10 years old. Elizabeth Shue and Ralph Macchio. Come on.
Who did you have a bigger crush on?
Funny story. So my whole Little League baseball team goes to watch The Karate Kid.
Uh-huh.
And I'm 10.
I got you.
When The Karate Kid comes out. And I'm freaking out when Ralph Macchio and Elizabeth Shue kiss. It's the first time it's the first time anybody had ever like kissed on the screen that I'd watch. I was like, oh, and everybody started laughing at me and I'm like, what?
You hadn't watched Love Boat?
Not really. I mean, if I did watch The Love Boat, for me it was just like for some reason it was a big deal. I mean, there was nothing bad about it. But
a smooch?
But like 10 years old and you see them kiss and you're like, oh.
And they're not swab and spit. It's just a little...
I think so. I don't really remember the details. I just remember like audibly like making a sound when they kissed and everybody started laughing because I was the youngest guy on the team.
You were so naive then.
Right.
So naive.
And you know, I think
Our
that song...
young Riley.
I actually think that song is from Karate Kid 2. But I'm tying it into Karate Kid 1.
Yeah, well, that song needs to go away.
That song is awesome.
It bites. I couldn't think of a worse song to play on Valentine's Day, man.
And you like the John Legend song?
Yes.
Come on.
Because that's good.
That's not good music.
You're dumb.
You're dumb.
Simple as
just
that.
Automatically go to name calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're an idiot.
I'm feeling comfortable with my
You're an
argument
nincompoop.
right now.
I hate you.
Start calling me names. I feel great about my argument.
Well, I mean, I got to get down to your level so you understand me.
Right.
Yeah. So I name
Sure.
call.
Sure. Whatever you do.
The Jazz get beat in overtime. Hallelujah. They fall to 13-41. So what is that? They've played 54 games, so they've got 28 remaining when they come back. I'll give them 3 wins, so 3-25. I don't want to. They start getting up to 20 wins, man. You're this close. You can have an opportunity to plug in a pretty good player that you can develop, along with guys like Filipowski going for 20-12, fouling out too. Jerry Sloan would have loved that. He loved when guys foul out. That means they're active. They're doing stuff. This is Isaiah Collier, 16-8. He can't shoot. He's 3 of 6 on 3-pointers, buddy boy. That's 50% according to my math.
That's progress.
Yeah. That's pretty good. And he's so strong with the ball. 3 of 4 from the line. He's getting better. This was his worst turnover game that he's had the entire month. 7 turnovers, 8 assists. That's a crappy ratio. 7 turnovers, way too high. He needs to cut that down big time. Keontae George continues to fire it up, 3 of 12. Haven't seen a whole lot of Cody Williams at all. I mean, he just looks overmatched. Sensabaugh, they only give a smattering of minutes, although he did have 10 points in 12 minutes. That's pretty decent there. I'd like to see if they would play him more. Maybe they can, but they'd have to sit Clarkson for sure. See what they do there. I don't know why they're giving this Mahaliu kid as much time as Sensabaugh. Something's going on there, that's for sure. So the Jazz are off now until a week from today when they play OKC. And it's the NBA All-Star Game. Riley, you're a fan of basketball.
Pumped.
You jacked for the NBA All-Star Game?
Oh, yeah. Can't even wait.
You're going to have to.
I mean, the only thing that helps me to recover
From what?
from the Super Bowl.
Is knowing that the All-Star Game is a week away?
Yes, the next week. That and Daytona.
You got that? Yeah.
Those two just really heal me right up.
When I was a kid, we were in Phoenix, and I was a pretty big pro basketball fan, and the All-Star Game was coming to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It was on a Tuesday night, and I told my father, I said, hey, man, I'd really like to go to that game. So we went down that night and walked up, parked in the vacant lot there, walked up to the box office, bought tickets that night, and went into the game. And I watched the NBA All-Star Game. And they played. They played real well. I still have the program from that night. And if I remember, pretty sure the MVP, guess who it was?
Tom Chambers.
No. Tom Chambers was much later. This was much earlier. I'm a young teen. We had barely moved to Arizona. It was Walt Frazier.
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah, yeah. And you know who was
My dad was a big fan of Walt Frazier.
Yeah, because I had lived in the New York area when he was playing there, and the Knicks were on TV all the time, and I watched all their games, and so I loved myself some Walt Frazier. You know who's a buddy of Walt Frazier? Jerry Sloan.
They're buddies?
Yeah, I think he turns 80 this year, and he's still announcing for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And when the Knicks would come into town, every year, you'd go in I'd get there about 5:15, and there would be Jerry and Walt Frazier in the media room eating dinner. It's like every year. I always would go. I had to cover them while I was working for the newspaper then, that they were tight.
Where did they cross paths?
In the NBA.
Yeah, but were they on the same team?
Yeah,
or they...
no, I think, no.
All-Star games, maybe?
It was... I think it was Jerry's college team. They played Division II, Evansville.
Right.
And I think in the Division II title game, Walt Frazier was at Southern Illinois, and I think they beat them. I think Jerry's team beat Walt Frazier's team. I read that somewhere. I'd have to double check that, but I think that's what I read, that they were buddies. So that's the big story today. Jazz going down. Now they're on All-Star break. All right, stay with us. We'll wrap up the show, get you ready. Jake is off today, but Ben will be hosting, and we'll do that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
They did come out with a statement about Luka specifically, and Patrick Dumont said, in my mind, the way teams win is by focus, by having the right character, by having the right culture, and having the right dedication to work as hard as possible to create a championship-winning outcome. When you trade the guy who just took you to the finals, and then you say that, you're saying specifically he doesn't work hard, and he's got the wrong character.
Yeah, but they're trying to defend themselves, right?
Yeah, they are.
Because there's stupid people throwing fake funerals outside their building.
Right, but you have to
So they feel like they have to defend themselves. And you know what? He's a vodka-soaked, vaping Euro trash mess. They got tired of that crap. I honestly don't blame teams for taking their franchise back. I think in the same way, I think Linda Rambis took her franchise back from LeBron. Interestingly enough, bringing in a vodka-soaked vaping headache. LeBron's going to be mad. He's going to be like, what's this crap?
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Ooh, oh, I was there. It's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This being Valentine's Day, I did ask, what are your favorite Valentine's love songs? You know one I had a lot of success with in college? Linda Ronstadt's Ooh, Baby, Baby.
Oh, my gosh. Ooh, and he's making fun of Chicago Peter Cetera?
Baby, baby. Yes. Ooh.
I don't really want to, I don't like that visual right now.
Linda Ronstadt, Tucson, Arizona's own. Her brother, when I was growing up, was the chief of police in Tucson, Arizona. How about that?
Did you meet him?
Unfortunately.
Were you messing around? Messing around in Tucson?
When I was going to ASU, I went down to Tucson to knock some heads.
Yeah, you met Linda Officer Ronstadt, your sister.
That's Chief Ronstadt.
She's a beautiful woman.
She was all that for us teens in Phoenix and Tucson at the time. She was one of her own.
I thought you were going to tell me that it was like, another Linda Ronstadt duet with Aaron Neville or something that you like.
Oh, her by herself. Are you kidding me?
That song's terrible.
It is not. Your
Dude,
music.
you're giving me this Tom Jones
your
vibe.
Music.
You're giving me a Tom Jones vibe.
You're giving me
Creepy.
I don't know what kind of vibe.
Dude, that last song, Christian's After My Heart, man. Like, that last one got me in a good mood, too.
That bit. So sappy.
Dude.
So I put on...
You just don't understand.
What's your Valentine's love songs? Poison by Alice Cooper. Okay, Mark. And then Jazz Wind by Thurl and the Baileys. You know what's weird? You know that Mr. Grinch story with the big, deep voice? Yeah. Well, Thurl sounds exactly like it. He can do that, and you're thinking it's the guy who does, because he's got that deep voice. He's got the pipes, right? He's a dead ringer for sound, and Thurl knows this because I've talked to him about it. The guy who did that original recording, you talk about coincidence to bring the show full circle. His first name, Thurl. Can you freaking believe it?
You're really stretching on coincidences this morning.
Oh, come on. How many guys you know Thurl?
I don't know.
And both
the
those
whole
guys,
Christian thing that you played this morning.
I know two, Thurl Bailey and Thurl the other guy. I don't know his name.
I mean,
his last
people
name.
are named Thurl.
How many people you know named Thurl?
I mean, my dad had a college friend named Thurl.
You just made that up. You
it's Thurl. It was Thurl.
Right, yeah.
Thurl, sorry.
You are a bull crapper right here on Valentine's Day.
Thurl Lund.
Yeah.
That was his name. College buddy.
Yeah. And both guys, Thurl's a dead ring. You ever heard him do it?
No.
Oh, man, he can do it.
He can do the Grinch Stole Christmas
to
voice?
a T. He sounds exactly like him. And
you know what? You want to know what's interesting?
Unbelievable.
You want to hear my cool story about Thurl Bailey? I grew up. I knew who he was. Like, I knew in 1983. I'm 9 years old. That starts to be in my wheelhouse of like huge memories. Like, I knew
he was a fine player for the team.
He played for North Carolina State.
Won a title.
Well, I never met him in Utah. And I'm sitting in the locker room at North Carolina State football game just before, and him and Derek Wittenberg and Sidney Lowe had just sung the national anthem for the game.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went up to Thurl, and I was like, Thurl, you don't know who I am. My name's Riley Jensen. I'm from Utah. And he was totally nice.
Oh, that's the way he is.
But I met him for the first time in North Carolina.
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah. It took me to get all the way to North Carolina to meet Thurl Bailey.
Because that's where he played, yeah. Thurl Ravenscroft was the guy who recited the original Mr. Grinch. And Thurl Bailey can match him word for word, sound for sound. All right, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming in, Riley. Ben's coming up next. DJ and I will be off Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.